Ajay, today in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Caru News, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Saroकार News, Bharat Post News, Gyan, and Organ Donation India Foundation. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is not only current, very, very relevant, as well as very controversial. The topic is Agnipath. वृक्ष हो भले खड़े, हो घने हो बड़े, एक पत्र छा भी, मांग मत, मांग मत, मांग मत, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। तू ना थकेगा कभी, तू ना थमेगा कभी, तू ना मुड़ेगा कभी, कर शपथ, कर शपथ, कर शपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ, अग्निपथ। यह महान दृश्य है, चल रहा मनुष्य है, अश्रु स्वेद रक्त से, लथपथ, 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 अग्निपथ, Agnipath, Agnipath. This is a famous poem written by late Harvansh Rai Bachchan. You might be thinking that we are talking about this Agnipath. No, it's just an introduction about the Agnipath, but we are going to talk about the Agnipath scheme, which is a new scheme introduced by the Government of India on 14th June 2022 for recruitment of soldiers below the rank of commissioned officers into the three services of the armed forces. The Agnipath scheme will be the only route for recruitment into the military. All recruits will be hired only for a 4-year period. Personnel recruited under this system are to be called Agniveers, which will be a new military rank. The scheme is scheduled to be implemented from September 2022. This scheme will bypass many things, including long tenure, pension and other benefits which were there in old system. Opposition parties in India have criticized and expressed concerns about the consequences of the new scheme. They have asked the scheme to be put on hold and the scheme be discussed in the parliament. On 16th June 2022, violent protests erupted in several states in India, where the army aspirants, angry with the new schemes, called for its rollback and damaged public property. By 17th June, 12 trains were set on fire and the movement of 300 trains were affected. 214 trains were cancelled. 12 trains were diverted and 90 were terminated short of their destination. Prior to the introduction of the Agnipath scheme, soldiers were recruited into the armed forces on a 15-plus year tenure with lifelong pension. From 2019, no recruitment in the armed forces was done for 3 years. The Indian government cited COVID-19 pandemic in India for this. Meanwhile, 50 to 60,000 soldiers continued to retire annually, leading to a manpower shortage that began affecting the operational capabilities of the armed forces. In 2020, a tour of duty scheme was proposed for voluntary recruitment into the forces for civilians to enable them to join for 3 years of short service. The proposed scheme was on trial basis and was planned to start with a test group of 100 officers and 1,000 soldiers. The Agnipath scheme was approved by the Indian government in June 2022 to be implemented from September 2022. The announcement was done on June 14, 2022. The scheme is for both male and female aspirants of the age group 17 and a half to 21 years. In the midst of widespread protest against the Agnipath scheme, the central government raised the upper limit from 21 to 23, but only for recruitment in the year 2022. The recruitment through this scheme is twice a year for the Indian Army, the Indian Navy, and the Indian Air Force. The posts available are below the officer cadre. The Agnipath scheme is the only route to serve in the military. The recruits named Agniveers serve for a tenure of 4 years that includes training for 6 months, followed by 3.5 years deployment. After retirement from the service, they will have the opportunity to apply to continue in the armed forces. Not more than 25% of the total strength of the retiring batch will be selected for the permanent cadre. Personnel who retire after 4 years of service will not be eligible for pension, but will receive a lump sum amount of approximately rupees 11.71 lakhs at the end of tenure. The Indian government plans to recruit 45,000 to 50,000 new personnel every year through this scheme. In September 2022, 46,000 youngsters are planned. And to discuss this very, very important, relevant, controversial, and topic of the day today is the Agnipath. We have a very elite, knowledgeable, and very experienced panelists are with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest. He is Honorable Mr. Justice Sudhir Kumar Saxena. Honorable Mr. Sudhir Kumar Saxena is the former High Court judge. He was graduated in law in 1976, registered with Bar Council of UP in the year 1976, practiced in Allahabad High Court on civil, constitutional and criminal side for more than 17 years, represented various banks, local bodies and development authorities. He was standing counsel for the state of UP from 1990 to 1994. He held office in bar associations. He was appointed in higher judicial service on May 12, 1994. He was promoted as district and session judge on November 28, 2006. He was elevated as additional judge on September 5, 2011. He took oath as permanent judge on August 6, 2013. He worked as chairman of Magistrate Court, Monitoring Controller, member of Juvenile Justice Committee, High Court, and Legal Aid Committee, Lucknow Bench. He was appointed as chairman of UP Public Service Tribunal on 1st February 2017. He retired on 31st January 2022. He was designated senior advocate by Honorable Supreme Court of India on 20th May 2022. Welcome, Honorable Justice Sudhir Kumar Saxena on our show. Honorable Justice Saxena, today's topic is Agnipath. And you know that it's a topic which has created lots of anxiety, curiosity, challenges, as well as controversy all over the India. And especially those states where the maximum youth are going to join the armed forces. And they are especially like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Punjab, etc. Madhya Pradesh also. Now, we would like to know from you your views on this new scheme introduced by the government of India that's called Agnipath. Honorable Mr. Justice Sudhir Kumar Saxena, please.
Thank you, Mr. Ram. First of all, we should approach this problem by assuming that it's not the duty of government to provide jobs. And the opposition, the protest was because of the unrest and unemployment, which is a all-pervading situation in the entire world. Youngs, for 3 years, recruitment could not take place, right? People set their eyes for army recruitment. They have prepared, they have undergone coaching also, and therefore they came on the street. But we have to approach this problem from another angle. Since it is not the job of government to provide jobs, we should see there is a fundamental duty also to serve the nation. Whenever asked, they will have to serve. In other countries also, there is a provision of conscription. I have been, ever since I visited Singapore, advocating the concept of conscription in India. Because we see our youth doing what? They are already indulged in illegal and unwanted activities. Now, for any job, minimum age is 21 years. They do intermediate BA and then they apply for various jobs, clerkship, officers, wherever they go. Now, this is here for this young age. Government has got them young from 17 to 21. This is the age where they will be trained to discipline. Now, we cannot, you just said that the army, since he was army, therefore he made it sure to come on time. Therefore, the discipline part of the army is very much necessary. We are facing the problems all over India is because our youth is indisciplined, he is misguided, and he does not know where to go. Now, only 46,000 people are there. They will be recruited. Youth will once come to the society back. They will be disciplined lot. They will be trained lot. They will know. Everywhere we respect the army uniform, not the police uniform, but army uniform is always respected. They will get the respect from society, and we understand and we hope that they will provide a better citizenry to the India. Now, so far as this recruitment part is concerned, we all know that our army should be young. For 3 years, there has been no recruitment. People are getting older, and challenges on borders have increased. There is a possibility of escalation also. We need young people. Now, after 4 years, the young people will be available to serve the national army. Therefore, this depletion will be repleted by these young trained persons. They will not be trained to use the sophisticated arms. That's correct. They should not be. But then they will be knowing the basic trades. After all, we send our children to ITI, polytechnics to undergo professional training, treat it as professional training. And they are paid also for 6 months training, 1 month leave. And after 4 years, they will be coming trained and with amount also. They can start some business. Moreover, they will be absorbed in the central forces. 25% will definitely go there. So army will not have any problem in recruiting. We have seen that stampede and chaos in army recruitment. That will be over. 25% will be there from these trained persons who will be disciplined lot. There is no problem for short service giving for the sepoy level. It is only for officers level. We have seen that there has always been a shortage of officers in the Indian army because army does not compromise with the quality. Now we'll have the trained persons. Therefore, at this level also, we'll be having a better personnel to serve the Indian army. This is problem will definitely be there. The apprehension is that they will come and they will become vagabond, they will join the criminals. But this is already there. They are already doing unemployed youth. Where will they go? They are joining political parties, they are lumpen elements, they are sabotaging, they are putting arson. Now, once they are back in the society, I doubt they will put any bus or government property to arson. So therefore, we will be having people who will enter the society with disciplined mind, and they will also affect others. People will see, and you have seen the response also. More than 1 lakh people have applied for this Air Force recruitment. So people are there, and this is nothing. Not only this is national service, this is a paid national service. Therefore, for me, I feel that this is a welcome step, and we should welcome it. The challenge is that, of course, there will challenge. Some will see that 4 years training and then opportunity. Then there will be a discrimination in the army cadre. But then that has to manage. Every action has two sides. Coins has two sides. Therefore, that will have to manage. But then, to me, it appears that it is legal. There's nothing illegal, nothing unethical about it, and Government of India is proceeding with the correct approach.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Justice Saxena, for giving your opening remarks. And Honorable Justice Saxena has mentioned very clearly that's a very welcome move by the central government, because he says that as in other countries also, the youth have to be trained discipline, which he has given the example of Singapore and other countries also, like in USA, etc. Also, it's a compulsory to join the army. But he says here they are getting money also. Youth will get a proper direction. They will not be involved in the unlawful activities. So, according to Honorable Justice Saxena, this is a move which will definitely give a direction, a correct direction to the youth. And out of the lot, 25% will be absorbed by the army only. The rest will be there in the society, but they will be definitely more disciplined. And so, according to Honorable Justice Saxena, one should understand the advantages of this, and they should accept this scheme and welcome this scheme. Thank you very much, Honorable Justice Saxena, for giving your opening remarks. Definitely, when I will come in the next round, I am going to ask some uncomfortable question, although it's sometimes I feel very awkward to ask a justice the question, because generally every time that justice
we are used to.
Justice always asks the questions to the lawyers and the client, the accused, but here we have to ask the question. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Advocate 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 Singh. Advocate 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 Singh is the advocate at Patna High Court, dealing mainly in service matters, labor law, family matters, and criminal matters. He is Advocate Central Administrative Tribunal, Patna, Advocate 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 Dhanbad, Advocate Appellate Court, Department of Home Government of Bihar. He is Managing Partner, Mars and Mars Legal Advisors, LLP. He is member of Regional EPFO Committee, Bihar. He is member of Grievances Redressal Committee, ESIC, Bihar. He is member of Minimum Wages Committee, Labor Department, Government of Bihar. He is chairman, IR Committee, CII, Bihar State Council. He is member of Governing Council, Bihar Skill Development Mission, Labor Department, Government of Bihar. He is chairman, Labor Resource Subcommittee, Bihar Industries Association. He is president of Central Association of Private Security Industries, Bihar Chapter. He is co-chairman, Legal and Conflict Committee, Central Association of Private Securities Industries at National Headquarters. His articles are published in several prestigious magazines. He is author of Labor Law Support LLS, published by Bihar Industries Association, Bihar, released by our former president, late Shri Pranab Mukherjee. He is having 21 years of experience in manpower consultancy organization, employing more than 50,000 persons and complying with their statutory labor law obligation. Welcome, Advocate DP Singh, on our show. Advocate Singh, you have heard what Honorable Justice Saxena has mentioned. Now, you being a person who is dealing with labor, direct labor, because you are running a very big security agency yourself, and you are dealing with almost 50,000 people every year, every day. Now, you belongs to a state which is Bihar, which has come in forefront because of the Agneepath. So many trains were burned and what not happened in last 10, 15 days. Definitely, we would like to know your views about this Agneepath. Advocate DP Singh, please.
Good morning, everybody on the panel. This subject is really a subject which is generating much fire in the society for last several days. And fortunately, I am coming from the same sector, because when I left my job in government railways, I was in railways, then I started outsourcing of job. Outsourcing of job is nothing but to give a contractual persons to the private big corporates. And we have been giving for, and we are already giving to them. Now the government has also started the outsourcing, and the railways have started the outsourcing. And so many PSUs have started the outsourcing.
Please go ahead.
But when we have started outsourcing, we could not even imagine that the day will come when the government will come with our idea of outsourcing the army personnel in our defense forces. We cannot even imagine. The country must have an army of its own. And the ideas, the imaginations, the theories, the principles through which we are just looking this Agneepath, nothing lies. Topi ke niche kya? Topi is just beneath the top cap, bald hair, bald head, nothing else. Koi idea nahi hai. So the only thing is that when the CDS, Mr. Bipin Rawat, late Bipin Rawat, was given the task, the person who was in job and who sought job after his retirement with the government, he has been entrusted with the job to devise a way how to come up to get rid of the pension in the army. You might be remembering that this government has come in 2014 with an assurance in the manifesto that this will promulgate the OROP, one rank, one pension. And by this OROP, the government has to bleed profusely on the pension fund. That time it was the 19%, but after OROP it has become 27% of the total cost. You might just guess that 32,20,000 retired army personnel are getting pension every month, every year. And every year, 55,000 retirees is going to come. So the government will explode out of this retirement pension funds. This is the crux of the issue. Before going into any ideas of Agnipath, these are created heroism just to divert your attention. Nothing is that. Nothing is that, just to offload the pension load. The government is fed up. The government is bleeding due to this huge pension load. And it could have been better to rationalize the pension instead of devising such type of Agnipath scheme, which you have just narrated in your Harvansh Rai Bachchan. It is really bleeding. The Agnipaths will also be bleeding. It is a scar. It is a salt on the injury of the unemployed people. Nothing else. But when...
excuse me. Mr. Verma, can you just mute yourself, please? Just mute yourself. Mr. Verma, please mute. Can you hear me, Mr. Verma? Yes, please go ahead.
For three years, there has been embargo upon any inductment, recruitment of the armies. The Galwan episode has happened. In Galwan episode, someone has given the idea that if you could have been the youth, now the definition of youth has also been changed. Previously, 21-year-olds is called youth. But now 21 years old has become the age of retirement. They are not the youth. Justice Saxena was saying that just we want to induct and keep the youth in the army. Can you say that a person of 30 years is not a youth? When a person of 35 and 37 years old is playing your cricket with all alacrity and fragility, how can you define that a person? Well, yes, I myself and Goel Sahib and all persons above 40 and 45 may be old. Though the president of USA is even not old, Joe Biden Sahib. But for fighting, 35 years is, I think just after 35 years, you can say that he has grown some stiffness in his muscles and he is not able to fight. But at the age of 21 years, go for the 12 and the 14 years child. Under the Child Labor Act goes with that. Just you are inducting 17 and a half years. The minimum age is 17 and a half years. In our private company, we cannot induct a person below 18 years. Now, if you see with the eye of conscription, Justice Saxena was saying that people are not punctual. Do we mean that we have devised Agnipath to train the Indians to be punctual? Is it a system of schooling? Do you see with these eyes? Do you see that you are going to school, train the big number of persons? That they come with that idea. But the only idea is to halve and slash the cost on the army, especially the manpower. Because war theory is now going to become technology-based. Yesterday, you might have seen that manless automatic fighter planes are coming. You don't need the human there. When you don't need human, you should not induct the human. Not only the government is also saying that we don't have money to devise and spend on the technology part of the Indian Army. We should not compromise on those because our borders are vulnerable. We are surrounded by our enemies. So we cannot compromise on our on the consolidation and strengthening of our Indian Army. If it needs a technology, it must be given. If it needs young people, it must be given. If it needs lesser number of persons, come with those ideas. No, I don't need up now 10 lakh army. We only come with, I only want just 2 lakh or 3 lakh army. Just come with that idea. Be fair and be simple. Why you are completing all these things? So you are also saying that the army is not a mode of employment. It is not a job sector. Okay. The army is not job sector. Police is not job sector. Central force is no job sector. Judiciary is not job sector. Everything, no job sector. Livelihood is only farming. Nothing else. What do you mean? All these things are not job sectors. For the poor village youths who has no way to eke out their living, where they are going, especially in our Bihar youths. You don't know, in Bihar, more than 100 people who have been physically and medically tested, waiting for their employment, that they were going to be employed in Indian Army for 15 years or 17 years. A news has come that 100 people have consumed poison and they have suicided. So what has happened to us? All because India is a populous country. People are, it is an employment-starved country. It is not the US. You cannot see with the aspects of the Western things. You need things of employment. But at the same time, I also say that if the country needs resources to invest in technology, it must do it. But don't do it with only the youths. Why don't you do all the officers also? You just take a bold step. No pension will be given to anybody. Whether it is the leaders or anybody. You come with that idea. You are Mr. Modi, and Modi is mumkin. If everything is possible, nothing is impossible with him. Come with the one stage, just like demonetization. No pension will be given from tomorrow to anybody. So everything will become insecure. Even the old people start to do something to eke out their living. What is bad in that? After all, the more than 90% are eking out for them even in the living. Older persons are plying the rickshaw on the road. Why a fraction of people should be given the job security? Why some people are taking the a tiny fraction of the persons are giving all the cost in life, and most of the persons, even the youth, you have not given them the status of ex-servicemen. You have not given them the facility of the canteen. You have not given them the facility of the medical benefits. You have not given him the facility of the if any casualty happens with them, you have to go through the life insurance scheme. You are not paying from own kitty. Till date, it was being paid by the consolidated fund of the government of India. But for the Agneepath, they are the stepsons of government of India. They will not be paid from the consolidated fund. They will be paid from the insurance company. So after, in case of death, the parents or his family, maybe wife, may not be wife, go and line up with the insurance company for that money. You say that if a person, you have just given that as per the requirement of the organization, you will employ up to 25% of persons in the defense forces, up to, as per the requirement. It may be 10%, maybe 5%. And what will, those Agneepaths will not be continued, 25%, not from there. All the Agneepaths will retire after completion of 4 years, including 1 year of training. Means 3 years of job, 1 year of training. So far as I know, 6 months goes in the basic training, just to wear the uniform in the left, right. And after 6 months, what they will skill, I felt to understand, in the just 6 months, they will skill and they will fight with the Galwan, like in China forces. So Indian Army will lack the experienced forces. And they will just take 25%. And if they will take the 25%, that Seva Nidhi, what they have called, in which 30% of their package will be deducted from their salary, and 30% will be given by the consolidated fund of the government of India. That will not be paid to that 25%. Means what they have deposited during 4 years can only be given if they are inducted in 25%. If any person leaves the job, if any person becomes sick, if any person dies due to his own anything other than the war, then what will be the insurance amount? That insurance amount will be only 48 lakhs of rupees, nothing else. That will be paid by the insurance. That is also have several staggered things, whether 48 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs, all these things. If it is a training program, it is a conscription. If you want to teach punctuality, if you want to teach physically healthy, come with different scheme. Had he asked a person of outsourcing expert like me, I could have given a better scheme. I could have just trained the 10 crore people and call them at the time of war only and pay on daily wages. It could have been more better. Just train 10 crore of people and call them at the war. When the war erupted, come call them. Then they will call them on daily basis. Where from you will bring that war, the decor. This is tour on duty. The Tor word is there. Tour on duty type of scheme you have brought. Where from, if anybody is knowing that after 3 years the war is erupted, if anybody has gone on the front and he is knowing that he is going to retire, at this moment the person knows, if I die, my family is secured. If I die, I will get this much money. My children can study in the schools and colleges. What will happen to where from they will? Because war cannot be fought with a strength, physical strength and muscular strength. War fought from the mind. War fought from the spirit. And war, where from they will bring that spirit. So this is a solar, this scheme is a solar abuse on the part of the youth. At the same time, I agree with the government position that if the government lacks exchequer to spend on the army, come with fair things. I have no grains. I have no money. So how can I run? Make all the jobs temporary and outsource. Make all jobs without pension and social security scheme. Why just a fraction of people will be enjoying all the safety and security, and while all the youth will be become the sent in the fire. This Agneepath, you have come with that poem, but this is a higher fire. Higher fire means fire has come from there. That fire has come here. So I think in the broad terms, I have just narrated the whole things. I will just come in the questionnaire. A very good couplet is there. Chal saath ki hasrat dile marhum se nikle. Chal saath ki hasrat dile marhum se nikle. आशिक का जनाजा है जरा धूम से निकले. ये बातें इतनी स्पष्टता से रखी जानी चाहिए कि we lack money, we lack resources. Why you are coming with all these waves? You are going to give training, you are going to teach punctuality. Is it the motto behind inducting the Agnipaths? Do you want to teach in punctuality? Do you want to teach the physical alacrity, physical strength? Nothing. Just to ward off the pension and gratuity, just to ward off. Who can understand that 21 years old has become old? So 25 years old is a very good fighter. And if you don't do justice, and now we have given that I am giving 10% in priority in the Assam Rifles. What is the corpus of the Assam Rifles? Only the 30,000 persons are there. Out of that 30,000, I think not more than 2,000 persons will be inducted every year in Assam Rifles, and they have given 10%, means 200. 200 persons will get priority in Assam Rifles. So and other services also. And some leader of the current Justice Saxena has stopped us from saying any other name, so I will not say any, but some leader of the ruling party has said, when I have to induct a person in my office, I will induct that those Agnipaths as security guard. The security company and security agencies, they are giving to show these security agencies. My son is also running a security agency. I myself is not running. But is it a quality job? Is it a sustainable job? This is a just job for just to stay and keep your heart and body and soul together. Let all the jobs be removed. People should go for entrepreneurship. People should eke out their living, whatever becomes. But I say, don't camouflage this thing. Come with the fairness of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate D.P. Singh, for giving a very, very strong opposition to this Agnipath scheme. And Advocate D.P. Singh says that this scheme is nothing but a camouflage. It is just to fool the people, saying that we will be training them, we will be showing or giving them the training so that they will be a good citizen after the 4 years training. But according to Advocate D.P. Singh, they are just fooling, because no person can be retired, treated as old or retired at 21 years. And he says the main reason is that the government has no money to pay the pension and the gratuity and other benefits. So to curtail that, they have chosen the army for this. According to Advocate D.P. Singh, this is a very wrong thing, because army, we should not compromise at all with our security. Our borders are vulnerable. We can expect, because we are surrounded by the enemies. So he says And in case if the government wants to go away do away with the pension, they should do away with everyone, whether they are politicians or judiciary or anyone. All the government services should be without pension. He says, when we can do the demonetization overnight, we can also do the same thing. Announce that from tomorrow, no one existing or the previous, although he has not used the word previous one, but the existing one, I think you mean those who are going to retire will not get any pension. They can do, but don't play with the emotion of youth, because according to Advocate D.P. Singh, this youth, after retiring at 21 years, what they are going to be. And he said that he is not going to name because, and that is fact also, because only 3 days back or 2 days back, the Honorable Supreme Court, one of the senior judge, has mentioned that one should be very, very careful when the matter is sub judice. Although in India, whenever there is a topic, every matter is sub judice, either in a lower court or a high court or the Supreme Court. So in that, he says that I will not name the person, but I can say that one of the ruling party functionary mentioned that they will appoint as a security guard at their offices. But I think Advocate D.P. Singh should be happy because his son is running a security agency. He will be getting a trained personnel, raw material, the pedigree without any expenditure. So all the security agencies of India should be happy. Although one of our leading industrialists, I think I should take his name because he is not in the judiciary, so no contempt will be against me. Mr. Anand Mahendra, he said that he will employ those Agniveers, and somebody has asked how many retired army personnel he has employed, and I have a data which shows hardly 1.few% of the retired army people are employed by the government. So we are talking of those Agniveers, whether they will be employed or not. So according to Advocate D.P. Singh, he is totally against this Agnipath scheme, contrary to our Honorable Justice Saxena, who has welcomed this scheme. But Advocate Singh says, no, it is not to be welcomed. It is just to be condemned, and he is not at all accepting this scheme. Thank you very much, Advocate D.P. Singh. When I will come, again, I will act as a devil's advocate and I will ask something uncomfortable to you also. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Wing Commander U. Satyan, retired Indian Air Force. Wing Commander U. Satyan was commissioned on 10th December 1997 into the Aeronautical Engineering Mechanical stream of the Indian Air Force. He has 20 years experience working at various levels and portfolios in the engineering field, ranging wide from the surface to air missiles to maintaining aircraft like the 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 Cheetahs and advanced light helicopters 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔 Caru. He has on ground working experience in the engineering arena of multiple IAF aviation bases and a base repair depot. He functioned as the senior engineering officer at multiple units, including an aviation unit. He has worked at Air Headquarters, the central decision-making body of the IAF, as a joint director, and was involved in framing and incorporating policies and decisions for maintenance of aircraft, specifically the ALH variant ALH Dhruv Mk1, Mk2, and the weaponized ALH Mk4 Rudra manufactured by AHAL. He was also involved in the phase-wise discussions of the latest Apache that IAF has recently acquired, a light combat helicopter being designed and developed by HAL. Welcome, Wing Commander U. Satyan, on our show, retired from Indian Air Force. Wing Commander, you have heard what Honorable Justice Saxena as well as Advocate D.P. Singh has mentioned. Both have contrary views. Justice Saxena welcomed this scheme, while Advocate Singh says, no, this scheme is nothing but a eyewash to fool the people or to misguide the youth, those who are asking for the employment. Now, you worked in Indian Air Force and you have 20 years of experience, not the 4 years of experience, and you have worked in all different things. So what D.P. Singh, Advocate D.P. Singh was saying, that can you have all this experience in 4 years? That is a separate thing, which I am going to ask when I will ask the question. But right now, we would like to know your views, being a former Indian Air Force person, and you being quite close to the ruling party, your affiliation is known. So we would like to know your views on the Agnipath Wing Commander 𝐂𝐀𝐑𝐔, retired Indian Air Force.
Thank you, Goelji, for inviting me to this August gathering. First of all, a very good morning to you, as well as the other esteemed judges, esteemed guests. So, a lot of views we have heard, both for and contrary. In this context, I will be speaking about my experience in the Indian Air Force, as far as the comparison with what officers go through while joining the Air Force, and where the current Agnipath scheme is presently standing. Now, first of all, I would like to clear a few doubts about the selection process of the Agnipath scheme. It is not that the Agnipath scheme is for the existing strength of the armed forces. The chiefs have already made it clear that they will be enrolling 4 times the requirement. That means the current requirement will anyway be fulfilled. Apart from that, an additional 3 times the requirement will be taken in. So, which means that more people are going to get into the armed forces, not less. And it is not that the army is compromising on its future requirement, or the armed forces is compromising on its future requirement. The requirement will stay the same. It is only that they have realized that they require more soldiers at the fighting level or at the field level, at various places, be it infantry, artillery, the technical branches, technical trades, and even the logistics as well. So the requirement will always be there. The requirement will be fulfilled, and apart from that, the additional soldiers will be recruited through the Agnipath scheme. So it is not that armed forces is compromising on its requirement. It is only being aware the requirement is too huge. That is that they require more fighting soldiers. So that is where they are trying to hit it as far the Agnipath scheme is concerned. So that is one. And there was a query as to why officer cadre is not subjected to this short service commission or the limited service option. I, being a part initially of such a scheme, can probably officially speak about this. I had joined the Air Force as a short service commissioned officer. Now, in those times, that is about 20 years back, 25 years back, the short service commission in the Air Force used to be for 6 years. That means after the training, we will be sent to the field units. We'll be serving for 6 years, and like the Agniveer, we will be coming out of the Air Force without pension, without any kind of monetary support, apart from the gratuity or the PF, which we have deposited from our own money. Only those will be given. That means only my savings will be returned when I am coming out. While joining the short service commission, it was clearly written in the ad that permanent commission will be considered based on the organizational requirement. That means I can apply for a permanent commission, but whether permanent commission will be given or not will be decided by the organization and not by me. So that is where that is how I joined. Secondly, about the training, we were subject to a limited training of 3 months in comparison to the permanent commission officers who used to be subjected to about 1 year of full training and followed by the specialized training. So we were subjected to 3 months of limited training followed by a specialized training, after which even before our permanent commission postmates used to get into the units, we were already there, probably serving for a year or so. So that is how the short service commission used to work. In my own batch, about 50% of us had come out as a short service. I chose, there were very few who chose to stay. And when we applied, a few of them could not get and few of them could. So these are part of the organizational requirement. Even today, the short service commission does exist, and the PC is given based on the organizational requirement of the armed forces. Particularly, I'm talking about the Indian Air Force. Later on, Indian Air Force also converted that 6 years into 10 years. and followed by a additional 4 years of training. And let me tell you one thing clearly, even after the 14 years, the officers who are coming out are not being given pension. So that is where the Short Service Commission of Officers stands. So this is where the Agnipath scheme currently stands. About, I will join my voice with Justice Saxena when he said there is a requirement of discipline in general for the Indian in general the citizens who are existing. What we are seeing is that when it comes to protest, see, protest is everybody's right. Everybody, an Indian citizen, has got the right to protest on any policy which the government comes out with. But what it should what is required is how the protest is conducted. This is not the way how a person aiming for joining the armed forces should protest. Burning buses, taking out railway tracks, and not caring about the public well-being. The first thing of an armed force or the armed forces, soldier or an officer is taking care of the Indian citizens so that they are not harmed in any way. And it only stopped when the chiefs said that if a person wants to join the Agnipath, will have to get a police clearance certificate that he was not part of any of such protests which occurred. So these are quite dangerous scenes which we are seeing, that we want to muscle the ruling governing body. I was not in favor when a non-BJP government was existing. I am not in favor even today. I think India has to learn from the past. Gone are the days when the violent protests were there. That was pre-independence era, when there was a clear requirement of evicting the governing body, because the governing body was not, of India. It was a remote control which was being operated from the Great Britain. So there was a requirement of evicting those people from India and taking the governance into our own hands. Today, the governance is of our own people. And I'm not talking about the previous governance also. We are today because of our predecessors. So I will not criticize the previous governments. They did what they could do, and the current government is doing what we can. So that's beside the point. The main thing is that when we choose to protest, we are choosing to protest in such a fashion that it is creating a negative image of India all around the world, which we should be taking care. Not that problems are not existing in elsewhere in the world. Many people are having. If you see the way the discussions happen in France, you'll see that they might be fighting like for very deeper issues, but the way they conduct themselves and the way they speak teaches us a lot. That we have to come to a point wherein everything and anything that we conduct should be in a fashion that is, showing the Indian values and the Indian discipline. So I think the armed forces increasing the scheme to cover about 3 times more than their current requirement is probably the positive way to do it. And there was also a statement by one of the recruiting officers from the Indian Army that this is a pilot scheme. They will see the success of how well it goes, and they will make the necessary changes in the days to come. So it's Army is an ever evolving and an ever learning organization. It will not stop here. It is dynamic. It will keep on changing to meet its current and future requirement. So I think Agnipath scheme is here to stay. I welcome the step, and I hope that many changes do come in that in days to come.
Okay, thank you very much, Wing Commander, for giving your views. And Wing Commander welcomes this scheme. He endorsed the Honorable Justice Saxena's views, and he says this scheme is going to stay. And what Wing Commander mentioned is that the first thing is mentioned about the Short Service Commission, which he was one of the part, and he says that the pension was not given. Yes, gratuity was given at that time, but that is also from the PF, money which they were contributing and the government was contributing. But he says that the main thing is the discipline which is required, He also mentioned about the protest. He wanted to mention that the protest has to be very, very systematic. I'm sure that the army or the Indian Air Force or the armed forces will teach how to protest. And that I don't think that is the main idea. I'm telling you this thing that if the army is going to teach about how to protest is not the correct thing. Secondly, he has compared that the pre-independence and the post-independence, it means we means wing commander. I'm telling you, I'm saying that you are saying you are in favor that whatsoever the violence taking place pre-independence was correct, because we have to evacuate, we have to see that the Britishers should go, but now we should not take the violence in our hand. That is also a very controversial thing, because Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy even at that time was non-violent, and he was preaching that thing, whether it was a protest against the British government or any government, one should be non-violent, and that's why Mahatma Gandhi is Mahatma Gandhi. Today, no one else can replace him, whatsoever we will promote. But thank you very much, Wing Commander, for giving your views. I'm sure that I'm going to keep a program on protest only the next time, when we will say how to classify the protest, which protest is good, which protest is bad. If the protest is in Madhya Pradesh or is good or bad, if the protest in Rajasthan, it is good or bad, we will discuss that also in the next program. Thank you very much, Wing Commander, for giving your views. And I'm sure today our viewers are taking the views of our panelists in a very, very good way, because these are the views which we want to tell them that they are experts. Their views matters, whether they are in favor or against, but they are the experts. They have seen the life. And thank you very much, Wing Commander. Now I would like to invite my last but not the least panelist, and he is Mr. Nirmalendu Verma. Mr. Nirmalendu Verma is the chairman of Khadi Vastra Shilpi Kalyan and Pension Nyas Khadi and Gramodyog Ayog, Government of India. He is a renowned social activist. He is a spokesperson of Bihar Pradesh Congress Committee. He is observer of West Champaran. He is member of campaign committee TPCEC. He is the former member of National Working Committee Swaraj Abhiyan and Swaraj India Party. He is president of Jai Prabha Aspatal Bachao Sangharsh Morcha. Welcome, Mr. Nirmalendu Verma on our show. Mr. Verma, lots of disturbance coming from your side, Mr. Verma. Can you just mute yourself, please, once, or see to it no other disturbance should come, otherwise people will not be able to hear. And turn your mobile in a horizontal position, Mr. Verma. Turn like this. Yes, please. Mr. Nirmalendu Verma, you have heard what Honorable Justice Saxena has mentioned. He welcomed the Agnipath scheme. You have heard Advocate D.P. Singh, who has opposed this scheme, but Wing Commander Satyen again welcomed this scheme. Now we would like to know from you your views on Agnipath. Mr. Nirmalendu Verma, please. Now please unmute. Please unmute.
Thank you, Goel sir. Thank you all our panelists.
Lots of disturbance coming from your side. Can you go to a room or somewhere where no disturbance should come, please? I think you are in some conference or somewhere in a public place.
Yes. No issue. Now I'm coming. Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yeah, it's better. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, sir.
आप हिंदी में बता सकते हैं, मुझे पता है आप हिंदी पसंद करते हैं. यस.
ये अग्निपथ स्कीम पे सारे लोगों ने अपनी बातें रखी हैं, और निश्चित रूप से जो भी आदमी अपनी बात को रखता है अपने हिसाब से, जो उनको ठीक लगता है वही है. लेकिन इसको जहां तक मेरा पर्सनल व्यू का बात है, तो ये थोड़ा समझने की जरूरत है कि सरकार चाहती क्या है. मेरे हिसाब से ये अग्निपथ स्कीम तो स्किल डेवलपमेंट का प्रोग्राम है, और स्किल डेवलपमेंट में जैसे करोड़ों नहीं, अरबों नहीं, खरबों रुपए खर्च करके और 90 दिन में, किसी को 30 दिन में, ये सरकार सोचती है कि उसको स्किल्ड कर देंगे और वो आदमी अपने पैरों पे खड़ा हो जाएगा और काम करने लगेगा, और हम डेटा में शो भी कर देंगे इतने लोगों को ट्रेनिंग दिया और इतने लोग आज काम कर रहे हैं. लेकिन कुछ ऐसा होता है क्या? जहां तक आर्मी का सवाल है, मैं समझता हूं कि 3 साल 4 साल में कोई कैसे आर्मी बन सकता है? और हम विदेशों की बात करते हैं, अपने दलील में रखते हैं कि भाई वो यूरोप में है, नीदरलैंड्स में है, 1 ईयर की वो ट्रेनिंग कंपलसरी है और 2 इयर्स की ट्रेनिंग कंपलसरी है। लेकिन वो जस्ट नागरिक को इक्विप करने के लिए वो ट्रेनिंग दी जाती है कि कभी किसी वैसे सिचुएशन में आए तो वो भी कुछ उसका फायदा देश को भी पहुंच सके और आप खुद को भी प्रोटेक्ट कर सके। लेकिन इसका मतलब ये थोड़ा कि वो आर्मी की कोई ऐसी ट्रेनिंग है जो बिल्कुल प्रोफेशनल आर्मी जो बनाई जाती है उसके लिए है। और मैं आपको बता दूं कि ये सारा जो झूठ सच जो रचा जा रहा है और ये जो कहा जा रहा है कि ये हम इंडियन आर्मी को बेहतर बना रहे हैं, अरे भाई इंडियन आर्मी बेस्ट है, बेहतर की जरूरत क्या है? आप तो इसको बेहतर से नॉर्मल बनाने के प्रयास में, तो ये ठीक नहीं है। 3-4 साल में, 5 साल में तो एक आदमी मैच्योर होकर के लड़ाई लड़ने लायक होता है और आप उसको 4 साल में छुट्टी दे देंगे। और जितने लोग इनके अभी देखो बांटा जा रहा है देश में, जितने लोग जो हमारे हैं, जो सीनियर ऑफिसर्स भी हैं, जिनसे कुछ बुलवाया जा रहा है, गवर्नमेंट के फेवर में बुलवाया जा रहा है, वो सब लोग 6 महीना पहले भी उनकी छुट्टी होती है तो कोर्ट चले जाते हैं। तो अभी बांटा जा रहा है, जैसे उसको सिपाही को, आर्मी के जवान को और ऑफिसर को अलग अलग बांटा जा रहा है। मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूं कि नंबर एक दिन सबके आएंगे। ब्लूप्रिंट इस गवर्नमेंट में सबका तैयार रखा है गोयल साहब, सबके नंबर आएंगे। जब हमारे किसान आंदोलन पे थे तो नौजवान हंस रहे थे, आज उनकी बारी आ गई है ना। अब जाए रेलवे में नौकरी करने, अब जाए आर्मी में भर्ती होने। आप ये सोचिए कि ये कॉन्स्पिरेसी है। आप देश को कमजोर बनाना चाह रहे हैं, अपने स्वार्थ में कमजोर करना चाह रहे हैं और कुछ भी इस पे नहीं है। ये चीज ठीक नहीं है। और जहां तक बात है कि 4 साल के बाद वहां दे देंगे, वहां दे देंगे, अरे भाई आप जरा सा प्रवीण तेवतिया की बात भी सुन लेंगे ना। इसने 185 लोगों की जान बचाने में, दैट मेरीन कमांडो, उन्होंने जी जान अपना लगा दिया था और उनको तो आनंद महिंद्रा साहब ने जॉब भी नहीं दिया। ये झूठ सच की कहानी और अपनी कहानी के जस्टिफिकेशन के लिए कभी कॉर्पोरेट से कोई स्टेटमेंट दिलवा देना है, कभी हमारे आर्मी के और डिफेंस के सीनियर स्टाफ से कुछ स्टेटमेंट दिलवा देना है, लेकिन है तो कॉन्स्पिरेसी ही, इसमें होना कुछ नहीं है। और ये देश कमजोर हो रहा है, हर दिन कमजोर हो रहा है, आगे भी कमजोर होता रहेगा, ये मैं आपको बताना चाह रहा हूं। ये सब कॉन्स्पिरेसी सरकार कर रही है और उलझा के रख रही है, ऐसा खेल खेल रही है कि आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि अल्टीमेटली वो चाहती है कि लोगों को मेरे स्टेप्स का पता नहीं चले। तो कभी हिजाब, कभी खिजाब, कभी कुछ, कभी कुछ, कभी कुछ, आप इसमें ढूंढते रहो और अपने टारगेट पर जो उनका टारगेट है वो पर उस पर वो लगे हुए, वो विचलित नहीं है। हम लोगों को विचलित करके रखना चाह रहे हैं। और मैं पूरे देश से यह आग्रह करता हूं कि ये जो हमारी संरचना बनी है ना लोकतंत्र की, उसको जो सरकार डिस्टर्ब कर रही है उसमें बट करके ना लड़े, इकट्ठे होकर लड़े। ये बांट रही है और हम बट रहे हैं, और जब बटेंगे तो फिर सामने वाले की ही जीत होगी और ये लोकतंत्र धीरे धीरे देश से समाप्त हो रहा है। ये ठीक नहीं है। आज लोगों को पता नहीं चल रहा है, भक्ति में, अंधभक्ति में, धर्मांधता में लोग इस पर लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन ये चीज बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। ये देश बट रहा है और बिल्कुल डिवाइड एंड रूल की पॉलिसी चल रही है। अब देखा आपने, अभी शिवसेना में ही 2 शिवसेना बना दिया गया, बांट दिया गया। मतलब ठीक है, आप जो करना चाह रहे हो कर ही रहे हो, देश में देश के लोगों का समर्थन।
वर्मा जी, हम सेना की बात कर रहे हैं, शिवसेना की नहीं।
उस सेना भी तो बट गया ना साहब, वो भी सेना भी तो बट गया ना। ऑफिसर और जवान बट गए, है ना। और ऑफिसर सर्विस करेंगे 20 साल, 25 साल, 30 साल, जवान करे बेचारा 3 साल, है ना। तो 3 साल कोई जॉब होता है क्या? अरे 5 साल में तो वो लड़ाई लड़ने लायक बनेगा, आप उसको 3 साल में 4 साल में घर भेज देंगे, तो ये तो ठीक नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल ही ठीक नहीं है। ये हमारे देश को तोड़ने का प्रयास किया जा रहा है और हम टूट रहे हैं। देशवासियों से मेरी आग्रह है कि सरकार के षड्यंत्र के खिलाफ एक होकर के लोग लड़ाई लड़ें, और तभी हमारा लोकतंत्र बचेगा, हमारे संविधान की रक्षा हो पाएगी। और नहीं तो हसल बहुत बुरा हो रहा है, हम लोग इकोनॉमिकली बहुत पीछे जा रहे हैं, हम लोग हर दृष्टिकोण से पीछे जा रहे हैं। कुछ लोग मजबूत हो रहे हैं, जो मजबूत हो रहे हैं वो और बहुत मजबूत होंगे, और उन्हीं को बहुत मजबूत करने के लिए ये सारे षड्यंत्र रचे जा रहे हैं। इससे बचने की जरूरत है। जय हिंद।
ओके, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका वर्मा जी। So what Mr. Verma said, he said this scheme is nothing but it is just to break the country. He is totally against this Agnipath scheme. He says that Agnipath is going to divide among the Jawans and the officers, which is very, very devastating, because he says that you are dividing. He says he has given example, although he has not given the name, and I should also not give the name, otherwise somebody will say why you are taking the name. But he has mentioned about that somebody is 6 months short. He has gone to the Supreme Court, and so much ho Allah was created by the ex-army chief. Now he's a honorable minister in our present government. So please mute, Mr. Verma. Please mute yourself right now. Just mute. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. So according to him, this scheme is not correct because he says that in 4 years' time you cannot give the proper training, and these persons, when they will be left out, no one is going to take care. He has given example of one Mr. Tivetia, and he says even Anand Mahendra has not given a job to him, although he has saved so many persons' life. So his views are totally against Agnipath. So viewers, you have seen today, we have 2 panelists favoring the Agnipath and 2 are against. So now I have to ask the questions, and I will try to be a devil's advocate. Those who have favored, I will try to oppose and see what they say, and those who are in against, I will be in the favor of those things. So I have to be a bit careful and ask the questions. Now my first question goes to Honorable Justice Saxena. Honorable Justice Saxena, please unmute yourself. My question to you is, this 25% are going to be taken. It means the top 25% who are really good will be taken, absorbed in the army. The rest, rejected, dejected army personals will be left, and they will be consumed. If we will believe on the words of some ministers or some industrialists, they will be consumed. It means we are compromising in the Assam Rifles or the CRPF or the paramilitary forces by taking those rejected, dejected army personals to consume, and Mr. Mahendra will also take those rejected, dejected. I am sure he is going to make them marketing head or marketing personnel, not the security guard. What do you say about this, Justice Saxena? I have to ask the question which has to be against this Agnipath. Justice Saxena, please unmute. Justice Saxena, are you there? I think Justice Saxena is network is a problem. He can't. So no problem. I will go to now Advocate D.P. Singh. Advocate D.P. Singh, you are opposing this, and you know Justice Saxena is there. Justice Saxena, please unmute yourself. Please unmute. No, you are on mute, Justice Saxena. Please unmute. Please unmute yourself. Honorable Justice Saxena, please unmute. No, we can't hear you. You are on mute, Honorable Saxena. Just unmute yourself. No, you have to unmute yourself. It's on mute. We can't hear you. No, you have to press. You have to press the button. Then only you will be unmuted. You are on mute. No, we can't hear you, Honorable Saxena. Okay. Once you will mute, I will unmute. I will come back to you. I am going to advocate DP Singh. Advocate DP Singh, you are opposing it. But see the good thing in this. The good thing is the youth who are not getting any job right now, unemployment is there, at least they are getting some training. It's like a skill India project, as our earlier other panelist has mentioned. So what is the harm? You are getting money, you have been trained, and even if they will become, because the qualification is minimum 10. So if they become the security guards, or they will be appointed in the as a Jawans or the constables in the local police or the paramilitary forces, what is the harm that you are getting somebody disciplined, trained, and those who are ready to do something for the country? Advocate DP Singh, please.
Pardon, sir. Let's just repeat the question.
My question is, the 4 years training will make a person that to a real good nationalist dedicated to the country to sacrifice his or her life for the country. They will become good watchmen. They will become good constables if they are 10th. If they are MA, PhD, then definitely Mr. Mahindra will take them as a marketing manager or something. But especially the 10th pass will definitely be a good watchmen and good constables in the army, in the police services, and they will be more disciplined. Even if they will come in the politics, they will be apart. I will not take the name because Mr. Wing Commander, we already discussed off the camera. They will be more disciplined and they will be for the country. So what is the harm? This is a positive thinking because there is an unemployment. Advocate Singh.
Sir, before going into this question, let us see what are the things with which these Agnipaths are coming out. They are coming out Seva Nidhi package. That is, I think 10 or 11. That's it. They are coming out with Agnipath skill certificate. The skill certificate, there are levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It has not been discussed. Which level of Agnipath certificate is going to, because the level is primary level is just you have whatever said that to be absorbed as a security guard, not to be absorbed in the Mahindra and what Kiran Mazudar also said in biotech, just like in research scholars in I think genetics engineering. And government has also given one thing, that when they are coming with the after completion of the employment, the payment of Seva Nidhi will be in 2 models. They can take it as a guarantee for the bank loan to become the entrepreneur. Should I explain it more? That means they are not being given any training about to become the entrepreneur. They have been given the training to be the fighters. But the government is saying that government will deposit this money as a bank guarantee, because in bank guarantee, government has just to give a letter. So, but in Mudra loan, the government has given the bank guarantee. You can inquire about from the banks. None of the banks could get that money. Government has given the guarantee. So if the government will guarantee the banks to advance the loans to the Agnipaths, so government will be in benefit out of that, because government has not to honor the guarantees. So government is also giving a package that if you want to become an entrepreneur, then take this term Seva Nidhi as a bank guarantee, and then the government will propel it also. We are not going to give you money, you just become the entrepreneur and take the loan from the banks, and we will issue the guarantee. These things are being given. When you want to give training, come with the NCC. NCC was much more good there. You pay much more for the NCC people. Those will also be trained. Okay. So according to you, the NCC should be more strengthened. No need of Agnipath. Thank you very much. I think now Honorable Saxena is there. He has unmuted. Yep. So, okay. Honorable Saxena, my question goes to, have you heard, again I will repeat it.
Please repeat it.
only 25% of the Agniveers will be absorbed by the army. And those 25% will be definitely who are outstanding or who are far better than those balanced 75. It means, in other words, we can say the rejected 75%. Like we know that in a civil services or judicial thing, only the cream will go and not the others one. So let's take it that the rejected dejected Agniveers will be in the market to be employed if they are 10 as a security guard or in the police, as our minister says or Mr. Mahendra says. Do you think that we are those rejected dejected Agniveers will be a compromise with the quality of policing in India? Because we are not taking the cream. Either we should say that all 100% are subject to be again a test. Whosoever will selected like IAS, IFS or IPS or in judicially, don't you think this is a compromise with the police? Because government wants to show right now that we have to bring we will give you this after you retire, and that's why you come to this thing. Can you, as a judicial officer, as such a senior person, can you compromise with the rejected, dejected persons who have not done good in the bar to become the judge in your judicial system? Similarly, the Agniveers, rejected, dejected will be absorbed in the police. Do you agree with this, Honorable Justice Saxena?
Mr. Goel, before I reply to your question, may I also inform that, in fact, this is not a poverty alleviation program. We are concerned with that people are not getting pension, they'll not get the jobs, they'll not get the wages. This is a different problem. This is social security measure, and every government must ensure that everybody is provided food, shelter, and health. So that is a different thing. This scheme is not meant to cover all those aspects. This is for the state government, central government. And Mr. D.P. Singh has clearly admitted also that scheme is good. But then government should say clearly that they don't have money. Yes, they are saying it clearly, they don't have money to recruit. And then they have to recruit only those which are required. Now I'll come to your question, Mr. Goel. You have rightly given the example of civil services. Top 150 people become IAS. Those rejected become IPS. Those rejected become IRS. Are they not qualified? Are they not serving the country? They also serve who stand and wait. So therefore, there is no question of rejection. It is question of this competition. The 1 mark makes a difference. With the difference of 1 mark, one becomes second group B officer, and other becomes his boss. So this is not. It is not there that the police people are bad people, or the IRS, IPS, or the RPF people they are bad people. Army, in fact, has a distinct character. Army, I know there's no reservation, there's no discrimination in the army, and there's no, in fact, whenever police fails, we call the army because people trust army. They do not discriminate, they follow the orders. That is the discipline. So discipline and nationalist spirit is inculcated by, that is the approach of the government. I again repeat, this is not a job creation scheme. Secondly, why do we ensure that they will not be absorbed as a civil service officer, IAS, IPS? They become many. I have seen number of army officers have become IAS, IPS. They are serving and they are doing wonderfully well. As I said, even if somebody is not serving at the higher level, they also serve the country. They also serve who stand and wait. Therefore, it is not a case where you say that they are rejected or dejected. They will be, and in fact, number of paramilitary forces have said that they will be observing them. They will get preference. My friend just said NCC. Yes, NCC will get preference. They will also get professional treatment. So we will be having an army of disciplined soldiers who have nationalistic approach, and therefore the problem is plaguing our society of indisciplined protest. That will agree. We should not analyze this problem from the political angle. Let us see from this angle. Pension, nobody is getting pension after 14. After Atalji became Prime Minister, pension was, now it's NPS, your money. Sometimes you are getting 60,000 pension, you are getting only 6,000. So that pension is already gone, and we should not judge those who are getting. हमें ना मिले उनको नहीं, ये कोई ठीक नहीं है, सबको मिले. My friend has been dealing with the labor people, therefore he has right. He has sympathy for those who are poverty stricken, but we fully share and associate with him. But this is a different aspect, this is a different force, this is a different selection, and therefore I say.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Justice Saxena. Now my question goes to Wing Commander. Wing Commander, again, I will be saying the question to you, which will be not in line of yours thing. My question to you is, why, as Advocate DP Singh said, why government is not admitting, and even Honorable Justice Saxena said, that we don't have money, our coffins are empty, and we require people, we want to engage the people because there is a shortage of manpower for last 3 years. There is no jobs were offered or no recruitment has taken place. So we are just, our coffins are empty. We cannot make the money. Although I will not agree with this. Our coffins are not empty. We have seen in Assam, all our, although I should not mention, but they are also Shiv Sainik. So Saxena, people enjoyed the everything, money was spent. So we don't have, we are very rich. Country is having lots of money. But why we are not giving the money to a poor person? And one more thing which I would like to say, although it's a bit out of this thing, that the marriage proposals always goes and they always say, are you a government servant? Yes. Is it a permanent job? Yes. Immediately they marry. But for 4 years, it means the person will not get any marriage thing, and you are going to have a team of bachelors in future. I should not comment, although nowadays people says that the पुत्र मोह जो है वो सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान देता है सबको, सारे पॉलिटिशियंस को, जिसके भी बच्चे हुए हैं उन्होंने नुकसान ही पहुंचाया है. Even in the current situation also we are seeing. So do you think that we want to create that thing that no one should have a marriage also, and we will create such type of persons without giving them the benefits which they are supposed to get? What do you say about this, Wing Commander?
Mr. Goel, there was a WhatsApp chat. The father will say that my son is retired from the government job. Thank you, Justice Saxena, for siding on that. But at the same time, Goelji, I would like to say that this is a controversial topic of how much funds the government actually has for spending on various aspects. But yes, as with every responsible government of any country, the government will try to, economize the processes and economize the departments that it has. So that is one aspect of it. But it will not be at the cost of compromising on security, which they are well aware. Even the armed forces is aware. That is why even in my opening statement, I had said that it is not that the army is compromising or the armed forces is compromising on the current requirement. It is evolving for a future requirement. Like comparing China, facing China on the east and the northern side and facing Pakistan on the western front, it is realizing that we need more hands on deck. Which is why in the Agniveer or Agnipath scheme, they have said that we are employing or we are enrolling 4 times the current requirement. That is, we should be very clear on that. It is not that, it is having one requirement, it is taking that, and from that 25% will be given. No, it will be taking 4 times the requirement. Of that, they will be taking 1, which is the current requirement. So that we should be clear on that. And secondly, to join armed forces, you require passion. I think it is there with every other job. When a person sets his or her sights on a particular goal, they start working towards that with a passion. Only then they can do well in the organization itself. So it is true for the armed forces. It's true for the other organization as well. I have personally, attempted service selection board interviews 6 times before joining. It was something like the Air Force decided, okay, enough is enough. This guy has to get in. So with the kind of commitment that he has, it's just on the lighter side. What I'm saying is people will keep joining the government jobs even in the future, and there will be people who won't like the government jobs and they will try to attempt in the private sector. If you see our current generation, the percentage of people who are thinking of joining the armed forces is on the lesser side. They want to go as entrepreneurs. They want to go, open unicorns, become unicorns, open new businesses. They want to become CEOs at a very young age. That's the aim
Wing Commander, that is for those who are educated beyond graduation. But we are talking of the Agniveers of 10th standard. They cannot become the everyone cannot become Bill Gates or somebody that you have no education and you can become the unicorn.
I'm getting to that. Before I go on, there is an ex-sergeant from Himachal Pradesh who's currently the member of parliament. So that is the jump which he had. So that is one case. So like what you said, like 17 and a half, let me clarify, the age of joining the Agnipath scheme is 17 and a half to 21 years. Currently it has been raised to 23 years to cater for the backlogs, but in future it will be 17 and a half to 21 years. So first of all, I would like to know the people who are trying to get married in this age. So the parents should be against children getting married in the age between 17 and a half to 21 years. That is one. What I'm getting at is, by the time the person is 21, when he is exiting, he or she is exiting from the armed forces, he or she is already having a corpus of about 12 lakhs, which a normal person who is exiting, after completing degree or after completing 12th will not be having. So it is not a retirement age, first of all.
Okay.
So the person who is starting at 21, he's starting with a corpus of 12 lakhs.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wing Commander. Paucity of time. That's why I have to say now. My last question goes to Mr. Verma. Mr. Verma, are you there? Mr. Verma?
Yes.
हाँ, वर्मा जी, अभी आपने सुना सबको और बड़ी अच्छी बात बताई विंग कमांडर ने कि साहब आप जब बच्चा रिटायर हो रहा है, अब रिटायर कह लीजिए या 21 साल के बाद वो 4 साल बाद रिटायर होता है या छोड़ता है, अग्निवीर बन जाता है, उसको कुछ पैसा मिल रहा है। आज हम एक और विदेशों की कंपैरिजन करते हैं, हम कहते हैं कि देखो वहां यूनिकॉर्न आई, वहां लोगों ने इतनी तरक्की कर ली है, और हमारे यहाँ अभी तक 25 साल 27-28 साल तक के बच्चों को माँ बाप ही पढ़ाते रहते हैं, उनका सारा खर्चा देते रहते हैं, क्योंकि वो लोग उस तरह की आदत है। ये तो एक बहुत अच्छी स्कीम है। इसमें बच्चे जो हैं अब 21 साल तक इतने ट्रेंड होके निकलेंगे। ठीक है, आज आप कुछ भी कह लो कि गवर्नमेंट पे पैसा नहीं है, वो अलग बात है, वो पॉलिटिकल हम नहीं जाना चाहते, लेकिन अगर हम उसे एक सामाजिक स्तर में देखना चाहते हैं तो एक बहुत अच्छी शुरुआत है। मैं तो कहता हूँ हर जगह, हर 17 साल के बच्चे को, जो भी 17 साढ़े 17 साल का बच्चा है, उसको 4 साल के लिए हर डिपार्टमेंट में इसी तरह का एक इंटर्नशिप टाइप की प्रोग्राम शुरू कर देना चाहिए। एजुकेशन रोक देनी चाहिए, जैसे फॉरेन में भी 1-2 साल का ब्रेक होता है तभी वो आगे एडमिशन देते हैं, तो 4 साल का आप हर एक को दे दीजिए और हर एक को पैसा भी दीजिए। इससे बढ़िया बात क्या होगी कि वो 4 साल बाद वो लड़का इंडिपेंडेंट होगा, अपने पेरेंट्स पे। तो इस बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे वर्मा जी?
मैं कहना चाहता हूं गोयल साहब कि जैसे आपने कहा कि सबको अग्निवीर बन जाना चाहिए, वैसे ही सबको एमबीए में भर्ती हो जाना चाहिए। ख्वाब वो भी तो दिखाते हैं, है ना? पूरा डॉक्टर इंजीनियर जितने देश के हैं सब छोड़ के एमबीए का प्रोडक्ट बेचे, है ना? उसी तरह से सारे जितने लोग हैं सब अग्निवीर बन जाए, है ना? और जो श्रीमान कह रहे हैं कि 12 लाख रुपए मिल रहा है, बड़ा हास्यास्पद है। मतलब सरकार की भाषा आम जनता को नहीं बोलनी चाहिए, क्योंकि सरकार की भाषा तो गुमराह करने वाली भाषा है। और अगर आप ऐसे पोस्ट पे रह करके भी इस तरह की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करते हैं, 12 लाख रुपया, मैं कहता हूं कि विंग कमांडर साहब का 12 महीना ना चले, समझ गए? 12 लाख रुपया कोई बहुत बड़ा सोने का ईंटा दे रहे हैं क्या कि आप बच्चों को गुमराह कर रहे हैं? और ये गोयल साहब, ये मैं बताना चाहता हूं आपको कि सिर्फ सिक्योरिटी के साथ ही कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं है कंट्री के, ये ह्यूमैनिटी के साथ भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज है। और मैं ये भी कह रहा हूं कि जिस शब्द सुनकर के आजकल आप लोग हंसते हैं ना कांग्रेस का, वो फिर जल्दी ही लोग लेकर के आने वाले हैं, और जो हमारे सामान बिक रहे हैं, जो प्रॉपर्टियां बिक रही हैं, वो भी वापस आएंगी।
नहीं, फिर आप
15-20 साल की नौकरी जो हम नौकरी देते थे, जो नौकरी हम देते थे जिस तरह से, उसी तरह से हम नौकरी भी अपने बच्चों को देंगे, समझे ना? अभी तो प्रतिकूल चल रही है ना हमारी धाराएं, इसलिए अभी की बात तो कुछ और है। अभी तो हम लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, संघर्ष कर रहे हैं, इसके साथ पूरा देश संघर्ष कर रहा है, और ये जल्दी ही मामला सही हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये गुमराह करने की पॉलिसी बहुत ज्यादा दिन नहीं चल सकती है।
ओके, धन्यवाद वर्मा जी।
मैं गोयल साहब इतना ही कहता हूं कि वो पथ क्या, पथिक कुशलता क्या, जिस पथ में बिखरे शूल न हो, वो नाविक की धैर्य परीक्षा का जब धाराएं प्रतिकूल ना हो। अभी धाराएं प्रतिकूल है, लेकिन ये जान लीजिए कि अभी देश में लोकतंत्र जिंदा है। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद वर्मा जी। So viewers, today you have seen that to both sides of the views on Agnipath. Now, which is correct, which is not correct, but one of the panelists says that it is a dynamic thing, it's going to evolve, and definitely new things will be changed because it's not yet started. The scheme is going to be implemented from September, although the advertisement has started coming. So we will see. One should not jump so fast and not try to be involved in violence. Violence in any form is not acceptable, whether you are correct or whether you are wrong. Violence is violence. And whether it's a pre-independent or post-independent, no, violence not to be accepted. After all, humanity is to be survived. And whether this Agnipath or Agniveers are going to be an asset for the country or a liability for the country, that time will only tell us. But for the time being, we must wait and see what is going to happen tomorrow. As it's a bit premature, yes, as a few of the panelists has mentioned, or it has come in the media also, that it would have been better if the government would have consulted openly with the opposition parties as well as with the senior bureaucrats as well as the ex-army or Indian Air Force or the Navy people, and then only come out with this type of a scheme. After all, it's a matter of our security. We cannot compromise our security for any reason or for any of the government, because the security is utmost. If the security is compromised, which I am sure this government will not try to compromise, but if it is compromised, then it will be a disaster. But if it is not compromised and it will be a successful, as one of the panelists says, 4 times recruitment, then definitely this type of a scheme, in my opinion, should be to be implemented in other departments also, whether it's a police or any railways and everywhere for 4 years. So at least the unemployment of few crores.
Just to interrupt one second. Government has given that they are
very short.
With introduction of this scheme, the enrollment of soldiers in the regular cadre of Indian Army, except technical cadres of medical branch, will be available only through these Agniveers. Means all the regular appointments now will be made through this Agniveers, that 25%. When it is 4 times the requirement, how does 25% fulfill the requirement?
Yeah. I think that there is something which I have in my introduction also. I said that it is. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. Time is paucity of time, but thank you very much. So, viewers, you have seen, and I am sure today's discussion is quite healthy. We are not involved in tutu meme type of channel, or we do not want to promote that. We want the experts should give their views. This is up to you. The viewers are more intelligent than the anchors or anyone else. You have to decide what you feel, but only my personal request to all of you, don't involve yourself in the violence. Youth, you have energy, you are the future of our country. We protest. If you want to protest, but in a very, very non-violent way. Thank you very much, and thank you. Yes, that is the. So thank you, Honorable Justice Saxena. Thank you very much, Advocate D.P. Singh. Thank you very much, Wing Commander Satyan, and thank you very much, Mr. Nirandu Verma, for joining and giving your very, very vibrant views. I'm sure the viewers are quite enlightened today. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.